oh my God, another 2-guard. But I think the expectation is, okay, he might play the 2, but he ideally would probably play the 3, maybe able to push to the 4 in some matchups. He plays bigger than his listed size, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of what the Kings are hoping. But the 2-guard aspect of this, there's dots that you kind of connect as we go along here. And we've heard Malik Monk's name kind of thrown out in rumors, and it's just kind of out there. And then you've got Sam Amick reporting that the Kings are listening to offers on every player, and things with Sabonis are cooling down, and it doesn't look like he's going to demand a trade or anything. And I keep coming back to Malik Monk, because when you start to go through and again, when you talk about this is just checking boxes on a contending roster, you start looking at the overlap for the Kings, right? If you're not tearing it down, which it doesn't seem like they are want to do, you start looking at, okay, where's some of the overlap and how do they change that? And I think there's a lot of overlap between what Zach LaVine provides and what Malik Monk provides. And barring a Zach LaVine trade, which I don't think is necessarily on the table, even though Sam Amick also reported that they're not prioritizing an extension for him, which I think is kind of interesting. But when you go, oh, the Raptors have interest in Malik Monk, the Kings need to shed some of their roster overlap. That kind of seems like the logical member of the quote unquote core that would be getting dealt here.
Yeah. I mean, like, look, Scott Perry is going to want to build his own team. And, you know, that we've been saying this forever, that can get really uncomfortable. It's going to, like, there are fans that are going to freak out when some of these trades happen, if they actually happen. I mean, we've yet to see one of the big trades happen over the last couple of days, you know, while all these other monstrous trades are happening. We saw a bunch of draft day trades yesterday, but like for picks and stuff, we did not see a bunch of player movement yesterday, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get to this point here where we're in the sweet spot before, after the draft. Once you get past tonight, like the second round will happen tonight. I would think that the next couple of days are going to be really interesting for teams, because it's sort of the build up to free agency, which starts on Monday. And I would not be surprised at all if you start to see movement. But like, in order to get a starting point guard, you're going to have to give up something.
Yep.
And, you know, as of right now, I mean, we know that Zach LaVine is a starting shooting guard. We know that Domantas Sabonis is starting at center. We know that Keegan Murray's a starting power forward, and we know that DeMar DeRozan is a starting small forward. We have no idea who the starting point guard is. I don't think it's Keon Ellis. And as of right now, they tried the Malik Monk thing, and then at the end of the season, they went back to Monk coming off the bench. And so I'm not sure that they're convinced that that's the right move either. In order to get a starting point guard, you're going to have to figure out a way to acquire that player. You're going to have not only matching salary, but enough talent to go acquire a starting point guard. And we're seeing names brought up. I know Amick brought up Russell Westbrook, Tyus Jones. You know, the Dennis Schroeder thing is weird. And again, I'm not saying that the Kings aren't going to go sign Dennis Schroeder, but I am, like, what I've heard around the league is that it's very possible that Dennis Schroeder's people are putting out the Kings stuff in order to get more money out of Detroit, which is Amick, last season.
Amick also reported that Detroit is trying to get something done with Schroeder.
Yeah.
So it's like, that just very much tracks.
Yeah, and it's somewhere around the full mid-level. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get, so they might be leveraging the Kings a little bit, but at the same time, like, hey, the Kings they have to find a starting point guard. And even if it's a starting point guard that we keep talking about that just isn't going to move the needle, that doesn't mean that they don't have to at least have one.
Sure.
Somebody has to start at the position. And as of today, like, Malik Monk is your best option.
If they had to play a game today, Malik Monk would start at point guard.
Yeah, probably.
And
I mean, it's possible they would start Keon, but I don't know.
And is Devin Carter your backup one right now?
Maybe. I mean, that's the problem. That I mean, realistically, this team has 4 shooting guards in Malik Monk, Zach LaVine, Keon Ellis, and Devin Carter, and they don't need 4 shooting guards. They have to figure out the point guard position, and then, or the other option is they have to go a 100% Domantas Sabonis centric offense. And they've done that in the past, but I'm not sure that that's who they want to be moving forward. Like, again, we saw his assist numbers drop from 8 a game to 6 a game this last year. Part of that's because a bunch of their shooters decided they couldn't shoot the basketball anymore. But also part of it is because you added a guy like DeMar DeRozan who takes away some of that ball handling. You added different players that change the dynamic of the roster. But that still, it doesn't change the fact that the Kings at least need somebody to bring the ball up every single time. And as of today, I wouldn't truly put a stamp on any one of the guys that they have on the roster as a quote unquote starting point guard, even a game managing point guard that you can run out there for 30 plus minutes a night. Yeah.
I like Malik Monk a lot, but if you can flip him for more wing depth or a point guard, or flip him in a deal that lands you a point guard, or flip him for assets that help you land a point. Like I just, when you start going through the roster and you start going through, okay, what's tradable, spendable. I'm on the Malik Monk as the most important Kings player bandwagon and have been for a couple of years now. But I think in reality, when you look at what the Kings roster is and kind of what they're working with and the hand that Scott Perry has picked up, it feels very much like, oh, that's the move. That's the trade. It's not Keegan Murray. It's not Domantas Sabonis. It's not DeMar DeRozan. It's Malik.
Yeah. No, it's possible, but at the same time, look, I think that when you're building a really high level team and you have a star 6-man like Malik is, which I believe he's a star in his role, but he's miscast if he's a starter. He is really built to come off the bench, give energy, play 26, 27 minutes a night, hit a bunch of crazy shots, get in the pick and roll action, score, create things for his teammates. I think that's perfect, but that's a luxury to have. It's a luxury to have Bobby Jackson. This is a luxury to have a Lou Williams. It's a luxury to have Jamal Crawford. When you have a starting point guard, it's a luxury. It can't be like the only thing you're just depending on. Hey, we've got to get through the first 8 minutes of the game or the first 6 minutes of the game until we can get Malik Monk in there. That's not a good situation to be in. And I also think that when you're a good team, you can pay a guy $19 million, $20 million a year to be your 6-man. When you're not a good team, when you're a 40-win team and a team that's sort of treading water and hoping that you're going to survive, you've got to get the basics in place first, and then having extra pieces like this that are awesome to have on your team. That's great and all, but you have to have the base before you can have the extras.
Yep.
It's like putting a big time hot rod engine into a car that has no wheels. And you're like, boy, sure to sound great in the garage, but we ain't got no wheels. Somebody has to move this thing along. Somebody has to be the driving force behind this team and be your leader on the court. And until they have that guy, it's going to be really difficult. And even the stopgap at this point is tough.
Hey, here's the thing that surprised me that we haven't talked about. I was really sure that if the Kings traded into the first round, it was going to involve Devin Carter. Were you surprised that their trade up didn't involve Devin Carter?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean,